So continuing my watch through Netflix's many films directed by women that they have added to the service this year, I watched one that came out in August. It's more of a summer film. Somehow I just didn't get around to it, so I'm watching it now. And it was written and directed by Lauren Miller Rogen. She had a film a few years ago that she wrote and starred in called For a Good Time Call that I kept meaning to watch and never did, so now I'm behind on that one also. This one stars Kristen Bell as a workaholic woman who is left at the altar, mostly because she brought her cell phone up with her and clearly had just made a phone call, and her fiance realizes that, like, she's never going to change and this is not the person for him, so he leaves. Meanwhile, her father has shown up, played by Kelsey Grammer, and is trying to make an exit so that her worst day isn't even worse, but he trips and makes a big scene, and suddenly there he is. Cut to the next day. She is back at work. Everyone at work is like, "Oh my God, you should not be here." She does a good job, but then she also has a bit of a nervous breakdown because something huge and emotional, two big, huge emotional things have happened to her. And she's sitting at home, and her father shows up and takes her out drinking, as you do. Then you find out that they haven't seen each other in 25 years, and slowly you're going to find out, like, why. They get drunk. The next day, they wind up going on her cruise honeymoon. The rest of the film follows kind of what you would expect, her learning to stop sending emails in the middle of beautiful Jamaica, her sort of listening to her father's story about why he left, her learning to realize that maybe it wasn't a bad thing that her wedding broke up, because probably the reason she got with the person she was going to marry wasn't right anyways, and she does need to kind of work on herself. All of those sort of beats. Nothing groundbreaking, but pretty good chemistry from Kristen Bell and Kelsey Grammer, and also some really fun supporting characters sort of in the background that almost make you kind of want to go on a cruise. The cruise is fun. The cruise itself is a character, kind of. The cruise ship, obviously, paid for the film, probably the promotion that the cruise line would get from having this film filmed on it, probably paid for everything. Just fun characters, karaoke. Always love a movie with a good karaoke scene. Really good karaoke scene, in fact, at the end. And you better have a great, singing moment when you have Kristen Bell and Kelsey Grammer, right? So, good karaoke scene. What else? I think it's kind of a light film, feel good, if you will. So it never gets too deep into the emotions of the characters, and that makes it more of a film set in movie land rather than a film set in reality, and that's okay. Because you don't always want, like, there's another way to tell this story that would probably be more emotionally true, but would be heart-wrenching and not uplifting, and this film clearly wanted to be uplifting, so there's that. Again, it looked beautiful, beautiful island cinematography, that, like, blue-green water, gotta love that. Trying to see. So almost everyone who worked on this film was a woman. There were a handful of men, but most of the producers were women. All of the ADs were women, I noticed. I think the editor was a woman. So it's one of those ones, like, stats prove that when women are directors, they tend to bring more people on board down the line, in post-production and other production in general, roles. And so it's always nice to see films like this that clearly took that to heart. So I would recommend this if you're looking for sort of a pick-me-up kind of movie. It also is written very well for Kristen Bell's sort of post-Good Place shtick, where she's a bit of a bit of a, what does she call herself in The Good Place? Arizona trash person, trash bag, trash can. I can't remember. She's kind of that really intense, self-centered kind of person who's also sort of light and fun. and but is afraid to let the light and fun version of herself out. And that's similar in aspects to her character on The Good Place. Um, and it captures her unique energy really well. There's also some supporting sort of bits with Seth Rogen, who is Lauren Miller Rogen's husband. He's clearly having fun. It's always fun to watch actors having fun. Uh, what else? What else? Yeah, that was about it. Oh, Brett Gelman's in it. He's always quite good. And he was good as her boss in this. Um, so I also noticed that the opening sequence when it pans over New York reminded me of the opening sequence in Working Girl, and I think I've seen several female directors in the last few years do a similar like pan shot of New York, and I wonder if they all were inspired by Working Girl, because I know a lot of these directors are my age-ish, slightly younger, slightly older, and Working Girl inspired me to want to work in a cubicle, which I work in a cubicle, and let me tell you, it's not as fun as it seemed when I was like 7. Um, but I feel like that was a highly influential film, and I could see bits of it in the New York sections of this movie. If you're wondering, I ran out of Band-Aids. I didn't actually hurt my finger very badly. I just ran out of Band-Aids, so I used a bandage because I'm old. Um, so this is like Father. It's if you like Kristen Bell or Kelsey Grammer, I think you'll enjoy it. If you like light comedy films, I think you'll enjoy it. It's not a romantic comedy. It's more of a family comedy. That's a thing that we don't have much of anymore. Um, there's comedies aimed at children, but there aren't really like adult family comedies as much as there used to be. A lot of the adult kids with parents movies now are dramedies or really dark, emotional things, and so it's nice to see um, the family comedies coming back. There's one I saw at South by called Family that's I think finally going to get released next spring, and it's also a family comedy as opposed to a romantic comedy or a child comedy or a teen comedy, and it's nice to see family comedies making a comeback. This is like Father. It's on Netflix right now, written and directed by Lauren Miller Rogen, and I recommend it if you're looking for something light and fun.